Hello everyone, this is POW Ponder on Weather. In this update, we're going to be talking about a major flood threat along the Gulf Coast, as well as a snow cane dumping 5 feet of snow on Greenland from Larry. So if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel, as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Sorry I couldn't get out the winter outlook this morning, but I definitely have more time to put it out this weekend, so definitely be looking out for that. Let's take a look at the overall satellite picture right now, because we got a lot going on in the tropics again. So here's this little feature that, man, check out Larry. It's still a formidable hurricane out there in the Atlantic, and we've got a pretty active tropical wave out here coming off the coast of Africa. But our concern is this little area of disturbance down here in the Caribbean that's lifting northwestward, and that's going to bring prolific rainfall to the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast even as early as Sunday, guys. So we got a lot to talk about. So let's zoom in and let's show you these features, what we're looking at. There's that feature coming off the coast of Africa. It's actually got about a 70% chance of becoming what could be Nicholas out here, way out here in the off the coast of Africa. There's Mindy, that's still a tropical depression, or like more or less an invest. And there's Larry. We seem to can't get rid of Larry, and it's still a hurricane, guys. It's still actually a hurricane out there. And we're going to be talking about Larry, but this little feature down here in the Caribbean now has a 60% chance of developing. So it's a tropical wave currently right now. It's heading towards the Bay of Campeche. As it heads into that area, it has a pre-existing surface trough to work with, and it's going to be commingling with that. And by Sunday, conditions become a little bit more favorable to form, say, a tropical depression or possibly a minimal tropical storm in this area as it continues moving towards the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast. And that's going to be dumping some very heavy rain over an extended period of time. So let's take a look at Larry. Larry's been around a long time. It is still east of Bermuda right now, but it's going to continue on this track, and it actually continues and actually gets really close to Newfoundland, bringing hurricane force conditions there. But as it continues lifting upwards, it continues going all the way up to Greenland. Well, in Greenland this time of year, it's cold enough to snow, and it dumps a massive blizzard over Greenland. I mean, check this out. I mean, we're talking anywhere up of upwards to 5 feet of snow. That is 68 inches. We're talking from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday in Greenland. So, man, Larry has not only been a major hurricane for 5 to 7 days, but it's been out there forever. And now it's going to dump a 5-foot snow cane out there in Greenland. That's just amazing stuff. And that is incredibly early for a tropical type system to dump such an extensive amount of snow over a region. So let's get back to the water vapor imagery today. So even today, man, this system is going to be getting its act together with this just deep tropical moisture it's going to be working with from out in the Gulf of Mexico. So that's got this feature. You can definitely see these convective bands start to light up the Gulf. And as this continues pushing off, this is Olaf. Man, Olaf just blew up. I mean, in 29 hours, it gained 60 miles an hour, and it was labeled as a Category 2 100-mile-per-hour hurricane as it made landfall last night near Cabo San Lucas. Man, so that was a formidable storm that just ramped up right away. There is Larry there. You can still see it on the satellite picture even today, and that's going to continue racing off and dump that snow over Greenland that we talked about. So let's take a look at all the ensemble members. So here's that feature coming off of Africa. This is just between now and Tuesday, the 14th. So today's already the 10th, right? So this is just over the next 4 days. A lot of ensemble members have this taken into, like, say, a tropical depression or a minimal tropical storm, right in a beeline into Texas and possibly into Louisiana here. So it depends on which storm actually possibly gets named first. This could possibly be Nicholas, and the next name on the list would be Odette. So either way, these systems look to form into a tropical entity. This one for sure, this was going to be on the borderline of a minimal tropical, depression or a minimal tropical storm as it continues. But the main impact from the system is just going to be the prolific heavy rainfall event that I'm expecting for the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast. Here's the latest GFS ensemble members kind of implying the same thing. So there's a lot of members coming together and taking a bullseye into Texas, into Louisiana over the next couple of days from this system. So let's take a look at the EPS probability guidance going forward. So as we look at this, yeah, it's pretty much guaranteed to over a 2 to 5 day period. It's got about an 80% chance of development. National Hurricane Center's at 60 already. So this continues to push upwards into Texas, into Louisiana, and beyond that, we could be looking at another possible system later on down the line. We're talking maybe a week away. So after we look at Nicholas that's coming off of Africa, that's probably not going to be any impact from land. We look at Odette, that's going to be really impacting the Texas and Gulf Coast. And then we have to maybe take our eyes towards the southeast coast of a possible tropical entity coming out of that region, but that's a ways away. That's still good 7 to 10 days out, but that's definitely a very concern that I have on my radar for next maybe tropical system that could possibly spin up. So let's take a look at the overall hazard map for the next couple of days, and this is from the National Weather Prediction Center. What's going to happen here is that rain will impact, and this is from the 13th to the 15th. This actually starts on Sunday, the 12th. So we're only 2 days away. This event I'm expecting starts 2 days away, dumping some very heavy rain starting to enter the Texas Gulf Coast region. But this is an extended period. So I'm expecting a 4-day event, primarily Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for heavy rain along the Texas and Gulf Coast. Now, with this system, as it continues lifting off to the northwest, my concern is this ridge to the north. And as it starts to feel the effects of this ridge to the north, it's going to block it and it's going to be pushing it down. So it keeps all the precipitation along the coastal regions into Texas, Louisiana. And that is a definite concern. So not only is it going to be able to lift up northward, but the steering currents are going to be very light. It's going to be very slow moving. And it may be even going to be able to push back down and go over the same areas. And that's why I'm deeply concerned about a major flash flooding setup over Texas and Louisiana coming up over those 4-day events from Sunday to Wednesday of next week. And that's just two days away to start the event. So let's take a look at the overall water vapor imagery by the time we get into that Sunday, September the 12th timeframe. You can definitely see the initial bands will start to be entering into the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast. So that's when I feel by Sunday afternoon, heavy rain will start to be approaching, say, Houston and Galveston into Louisiana, maybe Corpus Christi. So all these areas will be under the gun to start seeing the initial impacts from this tropical type entity that's coming out of the Gulf. And this is like deep tropical moisture it's going to be working with. It's going over an area that has not been affected by Grace or Ida. So Grace kind of swept across here, right? Ida swept over here. It's going to be impacting areas that have not been touched by this. It's got a lot of the deepest, warmest waters of the sea is going to be out there that has not been affected by any upwelling from those two previous hurricanes. So that's another area of why I'm concerned. It's going to be having prime conditions to work with the hottest, some of the warmest temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico currently right now. And that's going to be going over that area. So it's got plenty of juice to pick up and just going to be funneling into inland areas, dumping some prolific rain amounts. So I'm very concerned about this system. So let's take a look at the vorticity index of the latest European model. By the time we get into Sunday, you can definitely see kind of a swirling action kind of come into play. It's going to be entering the Texas Gulf. Again, a lot of the computer guidance and a lot of the model ensemble member guidance has this barely reaching probably tropical depression or tropical storm criteria. Okay, we're not talking about a major wind event here or anything like that. We're talking about a prolific major flood event over an extended period of time in areas that are known for. It's always deeply concerned when you have these storms coming in from the Gulf. Growing up in Houston, I don't underestimate these slow moving tropical storms going into the Texas Gulf region coast. I know what they're capable of. You can easily pick 3, 4, 5 inches per hour rainfall rates. Harvey had 7 inches per hour. So these can dump some very heavy rain with having that Gulf to work with as it just dumps inland. And the concern of mine is this system will be blocked by that ridge to the north. So that is a concern because it's a prolonged event and it might be traveling over the same areas again and being hit multiple times throughout the week. So that is why I'm definitely deeply concerned about this system. As we continue through that day on Sunday, you can definitely see the deep tropical moisture starting to work its initial banding into the coastal regions of Texas and Louisiana, with those 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall rate potentials starting to enter the region. As we go into that Monday timeframe, it just deepens even more as it continues to push that heavier rain inland into Texas and into that Louisiana coastline. As we get into that Monday timeframe, this is what happens. So you have that ridge to the north. I showed you these well above average temperature anomalies, and this low gets trapped between a high pressure over the southeast and a high pressure to the north. So it's only going to be able to travel so far north, and it's going to be feeling the effects from that ridge. And as it starts to feel the effects, it's going to slow down, and if not stall, and maybe even retreat further back south and go over the same areas again. And so that is why I'm deeply concerned. You can actually see it on this particular image here as this low will press northward on Monday. This is Monday. Again, has a 1010 low millibar low pressure. That is barely probably a tropical depression or barely a tropical storm, right? But it's dumping very heavy rain into the inland regions, trapped between these two high pressure systems. And that is the concern with the beeline into Texas, into Louisiana, Gulf Coast regions. There's by Tuesday, again, very heavy rain still impacting Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast. There's by Tuesday afternoon, again, very heavy rain over the exact same reason. So this is an extended, prolonged event over a multi-day event that's going to be really adding up to these totals. Here's the wind swath. Like I mentioned, this is not going to be a major wind event or whatsoever like that. This is barely probably a tropical depression, barely probably a tropical storm. If it does get named, the main concern with this system is just the very heavy rain. And the Weather Prediction Center, even by Sunday, so as early as Sunday, it has already included that marginal risk for excessive rainfall. And I would probably expect sometime today, we're going to be starting to get the initial starts of flood watches in this area, because they don't put them out so far in advance. The minimal criteria is 36 to 48 hours before they start initiating flood watches. So sometime today, there's going to be flood watches going to be starting to post into Texas, into Louisiana, Gulf Coast regions. And let's look at the rainfall amount. So this is over the next 5 days. Remember, this doesn't even start until Sunday. So this is still 2 days away. Today is Friday the 10th. It starts on Sunday, September the 12th. And over those between now and the next 5 days, it's got multi-inches, if not almost double-digit rainfall amounts into the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast regions. And then if we extend the view into that 7-day time span, yes, between now and next Friday, it doesn't start till Sunday, and it probably ends on Thursday, or ending on Wednesday, more or less into Thursday. But over the next week, yes, we could be looking at 10 to 15 inches. There's no question whatsoever from this event, and probably even higher than that in isolated amounts. So I'm definitely concerned about this event. Here's the latest European model implying the same thing. Double-digit rain amounts going into Texas and to Louisiana Gulf Coast, and it gets trapped with that ridge, and it's not going to be able to extend that far north. Places like Dallas might not even see a drop of rainfall from this system. It's all going to be compressed along the coastal regions over a 4-day event. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.